Hi, I'm Alan from Bicéfalo Art Studio. Today we're learning how to paint the amazing Skelleton King from the 3-month loyalty. There are 3 important things about painting this model. The first one is that we are painting Decayed, an old non-metallic metal. The second one is that we're using a desaturated palette, so the model looks really old. And the last one is that we are learning how to paint an object source lighting for a spooky ghost effect in one side of the model. So if you're ready, let's do this. Once with the black primer applied on the model, I'm going to start by creating volumes with a zenith light source using the gray primer. The idea is to place the light source in the top right corner. For the bones, I'll start with a dark color, in this case green-gray, to give the bones a shadow tone. It is normal that we think that the bones would have a warm tone, but in this case it's different due to the gloomy environment in which the Skelleton King is. In the same sense, the hair, despite being gray, has to have a bit of these cold tones, so we are going to use a dark and we are going to use a pale blue as a highlight. Pay attention to how I place the brush in a perpendicular fashion to the different hair strands, and above all, I make focus on the parts that are most exposed to the light. Now I'll continue with a little burnt umber and we're going to mark all the gold sections. It is very important that it has a solid color, so if necessary, use 2 base layers. I'll use green ochre to mark the intermediate sections of highlight. I'm going for a desaturated non-metallic metal, so I won't use a very intense yellow. First, I outlined everything and now I paint the sections that would be exposed to the light source to create these effects of reflection. Now I create a middle tone using the 2 previous colors. I thinned the paint to a glaze level so I can use it to clean the transition between both colors. It is very important to carry out this cleaning process so we get a correct non-metallic metal gold effect. Now I'll use pale sand as my final highlight for the gold. Do not forget to outline all the edges and to reduce the area of application. In this case, I can be a little bit careless because the idea is that it looks like a very worn metal. For the armor, I will apply a dark base coat and then I'll begin to draw the midtones with the stripes and dots. As with the gold, the advantage is that the transitions don't have to be perfect. Just make sure to place the areas of reflection in the right spot. Next, I'm going to increase the amount of white and reduce the area, making sure that it's sharp. Finally, with off-white, I'll finish outlining everything. I'll use burnt red to give a base layer to the clothes and the cape. We'll come back with the cloak later. For the sword, I will start with a dark tone and then an intermediate tone. I will create the transition and remember that it's very important to correctly place the reflection of the sword, so make sure to respect the light source that we set in the right top corner. Do not forget to outline all the edges, and then I'm going to use the airbrush to give the sword some final shine, so that it looks like a metal. Now it's time to set up the light effect or object source lighting. I'll place it in the opposite direction to the main light. It is very important that we have a base tone that supports the light color that we're going to use. For this, I'll start with white. Now I'm making a mixture of green and fluorescent blue to create a tone that resembles an spectral brightness. Observe how I reinforce the areas that are further away from the light source so that they have a more saturated color. This will create a transition for the light. Remember that objects will reflect the light in a different way depending on the type of material, so I'll paint the reflection on those with pure white using the brush. Here I draw scratches on the belt so it looks worn. Now, as all the tones of the model are desaturated, I can give an extra focal point to the red clothes. For this I'll use a little of vermilion, a very pure and very intense red tone that will make the model stand out in this section without stealing its clear prominence from the rest. Finally, I will paint some details on the base with a dark tone so that it looks like earth, and I will make some cleaning and final detailing to the model. Do not forget to clean the edge of the base with a little bit of black, and this is the final result. So this is the result. Please leave me in the comments if you would like another type of tutorials, maybe some longer ones. I think that we went straight to the point on this one, but I'm looking forward for any feedback that you would like in these kind of videos. Remember to visit all of my social media if you want to learn more about miniature painting, and I'll see you in the next video.